Let's pause with metal for a second and address an elephant in the room. And that elephant is Dolby Atmos. You have likely heard of Dolby Atmos in some way, shape or form lately. And that's unsurprising, as Atmos is exponentially growing and gaining its usage not only in the film world, but with any music too. I know, however, that many of you are very skeptical about Dolby Atmos and how it could apply to your music and your music career. Or you simply may not care. Which is no good, mate, because the very same story has happened when streaming services emerged over the CD sales, and that's how the inevitable progress of the music industry goes. It can be painful to adapt to these changes though if you're not prepared. Therefore, my job today is to bust the myth that Atmos isn't applicable to your musical career. You will learn how and why Dolby Atmos is going to find more and more usage and room in the music world, and why you simply cannot disregard it anymore, as it directly applies to your music. Hey, I'm Dr. Mike Tubeskov, the mad scientist of metal, and I'm here to bring valuable information as I navigate the uncharted waters of Dolby Atmos. Mate, like and subscribe to never miss it out. Let's go. Dolby Atmos is a somewhat novel listening format. It actually has existed for 10 good years, but recently gained some traction, which expands from your two-speaker setup, left and right stereo, to typically 7.1.4 or 9.1.4 systems, with the maximum capacity of having 400 speakers in total. A typical Atmos setup comprises 3 front speakers, 2 side and 2 rear speakers, a sub, and 4 speakers allocated up at the top. This addition altogether allows the sound to travel in a true 3-dimensional space. Essentially, Dolby Atmos allows you to move away from the limited stereo format into the immersive 3-dimensional surround sound fully and truly. Clearly, this opens huge possibilities to tell your story with your sounds and music. You can now make elements of your song travel around the listener, filling the space with a wall of sound, and simply have so much more depth and space to put elements in, especially for massive productions. The biggest advantage is you no longer need to fit your recording into a tiny, limiting stereo box. Now the whole 3-dimensional space is yours. Now, that's all good and well and complex and fancy, you may say, but how the hell can I access this listening experience? Surely it would only matter in large commercial movie theaters and maybe studios and such. Wrong. Lately, Dolby Atmos became widely spread not only in movie theaters and studios, but also home theaters, flatbars for TVs, and TVs themselves, which are getting more and more affordable. Moreover, Dolby Atmos is coming to cars, which is, to me, stunning. And finally, Apple Music introduced a binaural experience, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, by approximating Dolby Atmos format onto headphones. Even though binaural is not the same experience as sitting in a room with a proper Dolby Atmos speaker configuration, binaural listening is accessible literally from any phone with headphones, and it's still a big improvement, allowing you to experience the depth and spread of the sounds of Dolby Atmos on the go. So to conclude, Dolby Atmos is much more accessible than you think. And with that in mind, as the advantages of Dolby Atmos are now obvious and the fast-growing availability of the format is stunning, it's no surprise therefore that major film production companies are declining films that aren't mixed for Dolby Atmos now. And moreover though, music labels are now also starting to request the exclusive Dolby Atmos mixes for the music that they sign as a must. And that's the trend that we will see a rapid expansion of. Therefore, be ready that one day your music will need to be available in Dolby Atmos, and a simple upmix from your stereo file wouldn't cut it, because it sounds bad. But this issue we will discuss in depth next time. So, to summarize, you want to consider Dolby Atmos for your music because it gives a superior listening experience and therefore translates your music to your listener much better. Atmos provides superior dynamic range and removes the little stereo box limitation that your music has to be crumbled into otherwise. It gives depth and space and becomes rapidly accessible in TVs, cars, and headphones. And therefore, seeing all of these obvious advantages, labels are pushing Dolby Atmos, and you have to be ready for the change. I hope that this video is helpful and illustrates what is gonna happen, I'd say, in a couple of years. And as always, please hit me up with questions in comments, like and share and subscribe, and see you next time. Cheers.